Welcome to the Rank 'em Podcast reaction show, where we are going to talk about our lists. We just ranked our 5 favorite movie franchises. Joining us, as always, is my good friend Don Garwood, who is at Donnie_G on Twitter, and also the guys that just ranked their favorite movie lists, Keiquan Blackman and my younger brother Zachary Seawright. I'm Garrett Seawright. So we have a Star Wars discussion.
The fuck is your problem, Keiquan?
Part of me said it just to like royally piss you off. The other part of me is going to stand my ground and say that
No, the best Star Wars movie?
It is.
No, you're fucking stupid.
It is.
What do you have to support that?
I appreciated that,
You appreciated the member berries that they were feeding you?
No, like it told the story that you always see in the opening crawl of the very first Star Wars movie. It tells you that story. It's fantastic the way they build a story. There's like the fact that not a single member of of the main cast is a Jedi or a Sith.
You're a big fan of the way that they had to hurry up and kill him at the end?
You knew they were going to die.
Right, and they had to figure out a way to hurry up and do it at the end.
Like, you knew that we watched the whole film knowing that these people are going to die. And so, it just, I don't know, it brings a sense
So inherently makes it hard for you to care about them.
No, but along the way, it makes you care about them.
Not really.
It does. Jen Erso. I cared very much about her, and Saw Gerrera.
Saw Gerrera is a trash can, and he didn't die.
And actually, he did not die. You're right. He is also in the Star
He's
Wars.
in Clone Wars or something. That's pretty cool.
He's in the Star Wars video game, the most recent one.
Yeah. Anyway.
So, Don, what do you think is the best Star Wars movie?
The best Star Wars movie is... It's not A New Hope.
Empire.
Yeah.
Plain and simple. The Empire Strikes Back was one of the earliest examples of, hey, we can make a better movie than the original.
Yeah.
The sequel doesn't have to suck.
Empire was better than A New Hope.
Plus,
Revenge was garbage only because of the Ewoks. The Ewoks were fucking stupid.
Yeah.
And they were essentially the predecessor to Jar Jar Binks. Hey, let's put this character in here that kids are going to like and buy toys of. And honestly, it's just...
that's how George Lucas makes his money.
I mean, they were the predecessor.
Well, that's
to
because he's a genius when it comes to...
Oh, for sure.
When he sold the rights to Star Wars to Fox, I believe it was,
No, he sold them to Disney. He owned them until he sold it
when
to Disney.
he did the movie rights for the company that published the movies in 1978.
Okay, yeah, that was Fox.
Thank you. He said, you can publish these movies. They did whatever split it was. He negotiated for the rights for all of the toys from those movies. So, yeah, I mean, he did make movies that made toys because he got 100% of the profits from those toys.
And he got loaded. Have you ever seen Skywalker Ranch?
Have you ever seen what Star Wars sold for? And then
not a lot.
Not a lot when you think about
how much it grossed.
And you think of how much everything sold for after that.
Right.
It was like...
when he sold it to Disney, it was like $4 billion, and then The Force Awakens made $8 billion.
Well, it was immediately after. I think it was immediately after Lucasfilm sold to Disney for that amount. WhatsApp sold to Facebook for $1.5 billion. WhatsApp is the same as the entire freaking Star Wars franchise. And then, Disney just started spending buku bucks on, all of the Marvel movies. But
right.
No, Empire's the best one. If I had to rank them, Empire, New Hope, Revenge.
Oh yeah, the original trilogy is by far the best of the nine stories of the main franchise.
The only thing is I would put Revenge very close to the third movie in the trilogy. The third prequel. What is it? That's Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah, you're thinking of Return of the Jedi.
Return of the Jedi, which was originally called Revenge of the Jedi. And then, weeks before the movie released, George Lucas was like, we can't call it Revenge of the Jedi because Jedi don't take revenge. So they had to go and get all of those movie posters that they had printed up and change it to Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
I don't understand why people like Boba Fett so much. Boba Fett's a bitch.
Right. Like, he has Mandalorian armor, and that's the only thing cool about him.
Right, he's not a Mandalorian.
Right, he is not a Mandalorian.
But I don't understand.
How did he get their armor, then?
He found it?
Right.
I mean, the Mandalorians are more or less...
Well, his dad had it, because in the prequels.
Jango Fett had it.
Yeah, because Jango had it. But how'd Jango get it?
It's probably in one of their books or something.
Probably.
But, like, he didn't do anything. He followed Han Solo around for a movie. And then the second one, he was there when Darth Vader captured Han Solo. And then the third one, he fell into a Sarlacc pit. Like, I don't understand how that's Reese, who's been on the podcast. That's Reese's second favorite character in the Star Wars movies behind Han Solo, and I don't understand why.
Yeah, I never got the allure of Boba Fett either. When I saw that they were making The Mandalorian on Disney Plus, I straight up thought it was a Boba Fett show and was not interested in it at all.
I thought it was Boba Fett as well, and I thought it could be interesting if they made it well, but once Jon Favreau was in charge of it, who was Daniel Bateman from The Replacements,
Thank you for that.
Honestly, my faith was restored in it at that point because he was the director of the first two Iron Man films.
Yeah.
And he did a fantastic job with them. He did a fantastic job with the first season of Mandalorian.
Yeah, absolutely. The Mandalorian definitely exceeded my expectations because as soon as somebody said, well, it's not Boba Fett, it's talking about the Mandalorian bounty hunters, and there's all sorts of information about them in the books and all that stuff, I was like, oh, okay, well, maybe I'll give it a shot. And I had to watch the first episode 3 times before I actually stayed awake through it because I just was working a lot at the time. Our friend Marcus really yelled at me. Tore into me when I told him that I kept falling asleep. And he was like, are you retarded? And I was like, no, I work a lot of weird hours.
When were you falling asleep? During
the first episode of The Mandalorian.
Gotcha. I mean, it was very, like, the music was very soothing in the first episode.
Oh, God, it was.
It was very, like, Clint Eastwood, like, Western-type music.
Well, and
they got Pedro Pascal to play the Mandalorian, which is crazy because he's not a well-known actor, but he played Oberyn Martell in Game of Thrones. And he... honestly, I'm just doing it on purpose at this point. But like
for some folks, like it is helpful. Like I don't know
who Pedro Pascal is.
Yeah, but if you say Oberyn from Game of Thrones, I'm like, all right, okay, gotcha.
Okay, so he.
But then when you're like
the butler from Clue,
no, when you're like Forrest Gump, well, that's Tom Hanks, Don. He's got a name.
Woody from Toy Story,
right?
The guy chasing after the guy and Catch Me If You Can.
The guy from Big.
Big
Turner
from Big.
I'll say
Turner from Turner and
Wasn't he stuck in an airport in a movie?
The Terminal, that's a good one.
The main dude from Saving Private Ryan, Captain Miller.
Matt Damon
was in that movie for 30 minutes.
Yeah, that's how Matt Damon makes his bread and butter.
Fun fact about that movie is that they sent the entire cast to actual like military boot camp for 2 weeks before they started filming.
Except for Matt Damon,
but they didn't say
to hell with
they
this.
did not send Matt Damon because they wanted there to be actual resent between the people playing the people going to get him and Matt Damon.
It's messed up.
You want to fuck with that microphone a little more, Zach?
Sorry.
I'm going to slap the shit out of you. It's 3:18 in the goddamn morning. I've had my fucking fill of my brother.
There was also a chart talking about how much money the American government has spent saving Matt Damon.
Like the Bourne Identity and stuff.
Between like The Martian.
Nobody said the Bourne series is in there.
It kind of...
I don't think I've ever actually seen
really
one of those movies in its
I
entirety.
loved all of those 3. The 3 original ones.
I think I've only ever seen the last one.
Bourne Identity, Bourne Supremacy is the last
Let
one.
me see if I can get the estimate on this. Based on estimated fictional costs, the United States has spent over $900 billion saving Matt Damon.
Christ. We've spent almost $1 trillion.
Well, I mean,
fictionally,
a lot of that came from The Martian.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But
Martian's really good.
Courage Under Fire, they lost a helicopter. Saving Private Ryan was estimated at $100K for the search party. Titan A&E, $200 billion. Syriana's $50K, blah, blah, blah. Elysium is $100 million. Interstellar, $500 billion. The Martian, $200 billion. So, Matt Damon.
I forgot Matt Damon was in Interstellar.
Almost the first $1 trillion man.
Give it time. Give it time. He's not the $1 trillion man yet.
Plus, how much money has he stolen? In the
Oceans?
No one said the Oceans movies.
Yeah, Oceans. Yeah. That's what you get for putting your good list together at 2:10 in the morning.
R.I.P. Cedric the Entertainer? Bernie Mac?
Bernie Mac.
I was going to say, two different people. They don't all look the same, Don.
No, but those two, I just get confused which one's dead. And then I realize, it's the guy whose movies...
Right.
I realize, it's the guy whose movies I actually watch.
Bernie Mac.
Like Mr. 3000.
The Bernie Mac show was pretty good.
Bernie Mac show was pretty legit.
On Fox back in the day, I enjoyed it. I know you hate Jane Kasmerick from Malcolm in the Middle.
Yeah, indeed.
She's Malcolm's mom in Malcolm in the Middle.
What else does she play in? Other than the Bernie Mac show?
She in a West Wing, Zach?
I don't think so.
No, her husband is. Her husband's Eric from
Bryan Cranston?
Billy Madison.
No
Eric?
Yeah.
You're giving the company to Eric?
No kidding.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Do his weasel voice. He's going to be a soccer player.
Whitmore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm almost certain that's the case.
Huh. The more you know.
Yep, she's married to Bradley Whitford. Oh, they divorced in 2010. Never mind.
Yeah.
Like a whole decade ago.
She's fucking Malcolm in the Middle.
She's not fucking Malcolm in the Middle.
No, because
she's Malcolm's
she
mom.
She brought that shit home with him. She was like, "How's getting laid 40 times a month? And
Great.
all I'm getting is this. I'm out of here." Tell Bryan Cranston I want in on.
So did you and Keiquan?
I
had work to do, so I fixed my.
It's 3:18 in the morning. What are you doing?
I had something to fix. So did you guys come to an amicable agreement on the Rogue One?
We did. Keiquan's wrong. He agreed with me.
I actually enjoyed. Don't get me wrong. As far as the core trilogy or core 9 movies, you're right. But Rogue One is just a cinematic masterpiece, and you're wrong if you say otherwise.
Okay. If you dissing Tremors wasn't enough for your opinion on everything to be invalid, you saying that Rogue One is A, the best Star Wars, and B, a cinematic masterpiece is enough for everyone else to know that.
See,
but we'll put it up on a poll. And not what is the best Star Wars? We'll just say, is Rogue One the best Star Wars movie? Yes or no?
And it's going to get one positive vote.
You know
From
what?
Because
you can only put four.
While we're doing
four
that,
options on the poll.
Let's also put an option of, is Tremors a good series?
Do you like Tremors? Yes or no?
No.
People in California don't like Tremors.
I thought we were still going all right. It's 3:22 in the morning.
I got to work at 8 a.m.
I don't.
I also don't.
As do I. Not have to.
All right, everybody, go home.
You don't have to go home, but
except for you listeners, you can do whatever. Shut up. That'll do it for tonight's episode of the Rankum Podcast. Follow us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter at Rankum Podcast. Give us a 5-star review. Download us wherever it is you listen to your podcast. iHeartRadio, Spotify, and what's the last one? iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spotify. Thanks for making us a part of your day. We will chat with you on the next edition of the Rankum Podcast. Thanks for listening.